Hello and welcome to the Movie Changeup podcast, streaming live from the volcanoes of Mustafar. It's your host, as always, it seems, for the last couple months, Joe Fricke, joined by my normal co-host the last few months, since we've had Bobby and Johnny have, obligations. Johnny getting a dog, Bobby remodeling his kitchen, so it's also just been us two on the podcast. But today we decided, since if you haven't seen our Disney Plus reviews or heard me talk about it, I've been doing a chronological rewatch of Star Wars. I started with The Phantom Menace, and I've been watching every episode of television, short, movie, whatever it is, in chronological order. And I started after Bad Batch ended, and I have now finally made it to Revenge of the Sith. There's 330 pieces of content in total, and I'm somewhere around the 130 mark, I believe. But yeah, we've decided, you know what, since we're doing a drink along, and I forgot to change it, and it still says watch along across the top, why not do
We will be drinking, trust me.
yeah, why not do the drink along for my rewatch of Revenge of the Sith? This is a movie I've seen countless times. I saw it in theaters when it came out. It's a movie that I love, but I'm not sure if I love it for the right reasons or if I love it for the same reason I love The Room. Tristan, what are your thoughts on this movie? It's episode 3, Anakin's Fall.
Yeah, I love this one. This is for me the movie that kind of like sold me on being a Star Wars fan as a kid. Me and you both grew up in the era of the prequels, so for me, the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, those were kind of like foundational movies for me of getting into Star Wars, and then this was a much bigger step up in quality and maturity, and of course it hit at the right time. I think I was in like middle school or something when this came out, so I was right in that like beginning of my emo teenage years. So like the darkness of this all hit pretty well, and I love this one. This is probably the one that I've watched the most of all the Star Wars movies, and it's one that I think is probably my favorite of the franchise, to be honest. So I'm excited to watch it again with you, and shout out to you, Joe, for making it through that binge. All the Clone Wars, I wanted to congratulate you on that big binge. It takes a long time to get through all that.
I'm not even halfway through it. I still have. As soon as this is over, I got 2 or 3 more episodes of Clone Wars. I got Bad Batch, and then I have all of Bad Batch. Then I got Solo, and then I have all of Rebels. And then once Rebels is over, I have Rogue One, and then A New Hope, and the rest of the original trilogy. Plus all of Star Wars Resistance, along with the sequel trilogy and every single short that comes out, whether it's I can't remember the name of the short, but it's the one that's been focusing on the female characters in Star Wars that's narrated by Maz Kanata. It's
Forces of Destiny.
Forces of Destiny. All the Forces of Destiny shorts, plus there's some Star Wars Rebels shorts that I have to watch. I get to watch. I don't have to watch them. No one's making me do this except me.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great drink along though. This is a movie perfect for a drink alongs. There's so many like one-liners and cheesy moments. Like you said, I don't know if I like this for the intended reasons or if I like this because it's a cheesy, ridiculous kind of fun romp through the world of Star Wars. So it's gonna be a great ride, and I'm sure as you drink and get along towards the end, it'll be a nice. It just gets more and more ridiculous as the movie goes along. So by the time we get to that heartbreaking finale, I think we're going to be pretty in the weeds here. But I want to start things out, much like Han Solo. I'm going to shoot first for you, Joe. Congratulations, making it through Clone Wars. One shot for you, Joe.
Yeah, I still have 2 or 3 episodes left because there are some season 7 episodes that take place after Revenge of the Sith and that final arc, and didn't look like it went down very well. But one thing I wanted to ask you is, we messaged a little bit before. You were saying that you wanted to watch season 7 of Clone Wars. Did you get to that or no? Or I know you've seen it before, but you wanted to rewatch it for this drink along.
Yeah, quite the burn on that rum right there, Joe. But yeah, I of course seen it before, so I didn't make it a priority to watch the entire season. But I did watch the last the sort of like the beginning of the Maul arc and like the end of the Ahsoka arc. So I started with the episode where Anakin and Obi-Wan kind of cross over with the Ahsoka storyline, where essentially you get the setup for Revenge of the Sith. So you're getting Anakin and Obi-Wan going off on that mission.
That's the episode I watched right before I went to bed last night. And as far as Tristan, just take a drink, but we should cover our rules. Every episode, we always have 4 rules. We like to keep it simple. There's some drinking games where it's like, finish your drink if this happens, take a shot if this happens, take a drink if this happens. It's too complicated. Within 20 minutes, no one remembers what the rules are, so we like to have 4 easy, simple rules. This one we complicated a little bit because this is a movie we're very familiar with, and so we're not exactly going to be following the plot. It's not like, oh, let's consume this movie for the first time. We know what we're getting into. So for the first rule, every time they say light side, Tristan will take a drink, and every time they say dark side, I will take a drink. The second rule, we've added a little bit of twist. If one of us says a quote as they say it in the movie, the other person takes a drink. However, if you botch that quote by one word, you yourself have to take a drink. And the third one, every time they visit a new planet, you take a drink. So it's a new planet to this movie. So if they go to Naboo, obviously we've seen Naboo in the previous movies, but it's the first time for this movie. So, but it's not every time they switch planets. So if there's a scene where they're cutting back and forth between Mustafar and Coruscant, we're not just chugging our drinks the entire time. And then finally, for the fourth rule, every time there is a cameo, we will drink. And there may be arguments at some point of, hey, is that just an actor in this movie or is it a cameo? We shall have that debate as it's going. And you may see me drink from a what looks like your standard Del Taco cup, which it is. However, on my way home from work today, I went to Del Taco, picked up some food and this drink, ordered a Coke, drunk it down to about here-ish, and then filled it back to the top with the whiskey. So no, I'm not just cheating drinking out of the Del Taco cup. This Del Taco cup has a substantial amount of booze in it, and hopefully I'm still alive by the end of this episode. So without further ado, I think it's time we start this watch along, drink along, whatever you want to call it. You ready to
I'm ready, Joe.
hit play? I'm going to get it queued up on my TV and ready to go. My TV turned off. That's always great.
Cheers to the democracy, Joe. The downfall of the republic. Let's watch it. Let's watch it happen real time.
Gotta go. All right. I'm ready whenever you are. So, 5.
I'm ready.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And I forgot to add, I don't know about you, but I'm watching the version on Disney Plus. I don't know if there's other versions, and my thing took a second to go. Okay, I have the 20th Century Fox logo. I'm currently at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seconds. Got the Lucasfilm
Classic
logo.
Lucasfilm logo.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Is that a drink for you, or no? We're not gonna be that big of a drink. What's the first word in the crawl?
I'll drink that one.
What's the first word in the crawl? Well, first sentence, really.
War.
War. There we go. I'll drink for that. The shortest first sentence in all of the Star Wars opening crawls. War! Exclamation point. Oh, I can definitely taste that whiskey. War! The Republic is crumbling under attacks by the ruthless Sith Lord Count Dooku. There are heroes on both sides. Oh, did Trump write this? Evil is everywhere. In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader, General Grievous, has swept into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, leader of the Galactic Senate.
He's the Senate.
As the Separatist droid army attempts to flee the besieged capital with their valuable hostage, 2 Jedi Knights lead a desperate mission to rescue the captive Chancellor. I remember as a kid, because this came out in 2005, so I was 11, just a few weeks, because my birthday's early June, so this came out late May. I was 11, just about to turn 12 when this came out. And I remember reading Droid General, and I literally thought he was like a droid. I didn't realize he was a general of the droid. So when it said Droid General, until probably in my late teens, I had always assumed he was a droid himself, until maybe I even watched the Clone Wars show that I realized, oh, he's actually a cyborg.
Yeah, you wouldn't know from watching the movie.
Yeah. I mean, he coughs and stuff, but I don't know. I was 12.
Yeah, it's humanoid elements. I always remember that the Lego Star Wars prequel game came out a couple weeks before this movie came out.
Yeah.
So you could play through the entirety of Revenge of the Sith storyline before the movie was even out.
I remember there was a thing. There was, like, I've seen the people talk about this where you can play two-player with a friend where you and Obi-Wan are playing, like you can play as Anakin and your friend can play as Obi-Wan or vice versa or whatever, and you are doing the mission together, and then at the end, after you build up all your like powers and stuff, you face each other. Is that true?
That's pretty, yeah, that's I've heard that one. And in the Lego game, I think it was like that.
That's what
'Cause
I
you
was
do a
talking about.
co-op.
It's the Lego game.
Yeah, it's been forever since I played it, but I do think that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So you and I,
And then by the end of the game, you're battling.
the last thing you and I both saw of Star Wars was these two dipping out and Ahsoka going to face Maul on Mandalore. But the one thing that does not, the timeline of this movie does not line up with the timeline of the final arc of Clone Wars. Because
They tried so hard to make it like a simultaneous thing.
But this
So you're saying
movie
it
takes
doesn't line
place
up?
over like weeks or months. Because Padme tells Anakin she's pregnant and then like at the beginning of this movie, and like you wouldn't do that 9 months into being pregnant, you're not gonna tell your husband, I'm pregnant.
Like time works differently in space.
Yeah. I'll just my headcanon is gonna be that it took Ahsoka a while to get to Mandalore. Like the reason it was so urgent is because they knew the trip to Mandalore would take like a month or two. And so that's why it was so urgent. So like Ahsoka leaves and there's kind of a jump cut there of like a month later Ahsoka's on Mandalore.
I'll take that, Kenan.
But granted, they leave to go rescue again, the timeline makes no sense. Because they leave to go rescue the Chancellor and they're already on Coruscant, so I think you're just gonna have to accept the timeline really makes no sense. Padme telling Anakin she's pregnant basically is what makes this timeline make no sense. Unless you just have to accept the fact that she tells Anakin she's pregnant when she's 9 months pregnant.
I really like this opening sequence, especially when the prequels are criticized for like not having enough action and being boring and all that stuff. And this is like immediately from the start, you're getting space battles, stuff that you never could have accomplished in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, like there are space battles, but they're not like zipping around, flying around. It's so much going on. It's like 5 ships in a straight line, maybe a little bit of curve, dropping bombs. Like this is way more chaotic, way more going on.
Gotta love Ewan.
Buzz droids, man.
I had tons of Buzz Droid toys when I was a kid.
Yeah, I had a Lego version of Obi-Wan's whatever this is called. No, it's not a plane, but I like that these are like clearly like predecessors of the TIE Fighter. However, they look far more advanced than what a TIE Fighter is, which is kind of weird. But I think part of it is my headcanon for a lot of this is why these look cooler than the TIE Fighter is the Empire kind of was going far more for function than the art and the design of stuff. And it's like, this is the bare bones of what we need for what we need this to do. Where the people that designed like these ships cared about like the art and the design and the stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Empire design's very minimal and very
we're not gonna waste time
very
on
much about
cool
getting
designs. We're building shit for function here, not.
Hayden Christensen, great actor in this.
Iconic. How he didn't get the Oscar is beyond me. Can't wait to see him in Kenobi, though. The one thing I think I'm looking forward to the most in Kenobi is live action Anakin and live action Obi-Wan acknowledging the existence of Ahsoka, because there's no way that isn't brought up, is it? I feel like that's a massive missed opportunity for them not to like at one point bring up or mention Ahsoka.
It's a cameo of a line. I think that counts.
That's not. That doesn't count.
I expect an Ahsoka appearance, honestly, in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, because neither of them have aged much more than what you would need makeup to de-age them. Like maybe a few things here and there digitally, but it's not like one of them aged 30 years. Like they both haven't really aged that much since 2005. I'm kind of expecting a Clone Wars flashback moment.
I love it.
Like I've seen people are posting pictures on the Star Wars subreddit of them with Hayden Christensen, and I'm like, that guy's aged like 2 or 3 years in the last 15.
He seems like he's doing good though. He seems like he's happy with Star Wars finally again, and he's
Yeah.
not like.
Well, I think.
You always feel bad for the people who become like the scapegoats of all the hate or something
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
Oh, this fucking guy. But
What a
yeah,
character.
yeah, it's crazy that they've been battling each other for 3 years, and this is the first time General Grievous and Anakin Skywalker are meeting face to face.
There's a lot of fun stuff in the Clone Wars where they're like going out of the way to make sure they don't actually see each other.
Yeah. Like they've had space
Like
battles
a point
against
where
each other, but they've never stood in a room. There was a moment they were in the same room, but Anakin was knocked out and laying down, giving me strong Captain America, Winter Soldier vibes of them in an elevator. I don't know
Yep.
what it is about like having just badass scenes in an elevator, but I guess that's like the mark of a cool badass is you're just in an elevator with your enemy and you take them all out. I'm always curious about numbers in movies of like that number had to come from somewhere, like 31174. So somewhere, someone I think was happened on March 11th, 1974, for them to be like, this is the
Yeah.
number. Like George Lucas, like maybe if I go back and look and like, that's maybe the date he came up with like like submitted the original script for Star Wars or something. Or maybe I don't
It was
know,
around that
like
time.
I don't know about like what his family's like, but maybe like that's his brother's birthday or like his wife at the time's birthday or something. Well, probably not his wife at the time because I don't think he's that creepy.
Yeah, I think they were.
But I know his kids are adopted and they're maybe his kids. Maybe that could be his daughter's birthday. I'm gonna look it up. Katie Lucas. When is Katie Lucas's birthday? Oh yeah, we're on a new planet. We never drank for that. Technically, it's
Oh, we
Coruscant.
got a drink for that. Welcome to Coruscant, Joe.
Nope. Katie Lucas not born March 11th, 1974.
Wrong guess, Joe.
Okay, all I'm saying, I went to Google, typed in March 11th, 1974. The first autofill is March 11th, 1974 Star Wars. So either Google's listening to me or other people have had this thought.
Do you think Christopher Lee did that backflip for real?
Yes, he definitely did. better Christopher Lee role, Scaramanga or Count Dooku?
It's a pretty intense battle for forgettable villains in movies that
Okay, number one,
he's
Dooku, not
overqualified for.
forgettable. But maybe that's because of Clone Wars.
I think it's probably like he gives a good job as a threatening Sith villain.
Yeah.
He's built for that kind of role.
It's so crazy, like seeing this, having recently binged Clone Wars, like all of these things that we now know that these characters did that we didn't know about before, like fighting Savage. Like 2 months ago, Palpatine rolled up on Darth Maul and just kicked the shit out of him and his brother. Also, that would definitely break your hips. Having that big
Yeah,
two
Obi-Wan's
thousand
dead now.
pound platform just land on your hips like that, just shatter your pelvis.
The Clone Wars is such a great job just adding into the context of these characters.
Yeah. Like Anakin, like you watch the Clone Wars throughout most of the episodes, towards the end, he gets like angrier and angrier and angrier. Like this was a slow build of just anger towards the Jedi, especially with like Ahsoka getting cut up. And good. Kill him.
Oh god, do I have to drink now?
Yeah. I won't make you drink for this whole scene. All of the thoughts going through Sidious, or not, through Dooku's mind right now.
I know Dooku's just seeing the plan come together. He's like, wow,
Do it.
I was
You know
literally
that
just
comes
a,
later
a
on.
pawn of this guy.
Do it. He was too dangerous to be kept alive.
Oh god, Joe's gonna kill me this episode.
Revenge is not the Jedi way.
God, this calling people someone sand people.
Yeah. Well, I've
I
heard
feel
people
like
call
you
things worse,
can move beyond that.
especially recently by Las Vegas Raiders head coaches.
Oh no,
I don't know if that made it into your news cycle, but
his fate will be the same as ours.
that's a drink. And it is. They all died on a Death Star.
Yeah, it's true.
And they all came back, kind of. They all died on a Death Star and they all came back.
We had a Wilhelm scream.
But Anakin's like, everything in my life is coming together right now. Like, the war's over. I just defeated Dooku. Ahsoka's back in my life. Honestly, I think Anakin's low-key plan was when the Clone Wars was over, he was going to leave the Jedi Order so he could be openly married to Padme. Because
Yeah, look, I mean, he's about to find out.
him and Padme had been getting into some fights in the Clone Wars about, like, them having to hide their relationship, and Padme's like, our marriage is hardly even real because we have to hide it. And he kind of had a vibe where I'm like, I'm thinking as soon as the Clone Wars is over, Anakin's like, yeah, I'm leaving the Jedi Order.
I exactly got that vibe, and I think that like he's about to find out that his wife is pregnant, and he's gonna have everything he ever wanted set in front of him, and it's like I'm getting along great with the leader of the free world, the
Yeah.
and he seems like he has good intentions. He cares about me. He listens to me. Unlike Obi-Wan, unlike the Jedi Order, you can see.
Yeah, he's calling back things
between-
I've told him in the past, He remembers shit I tell him. This is so, like, dumb. This is, like, the most evil, like, sinister character in the universe. And he's just flopping around like a weird old man.
Yeah, he just fell on an elevator shaft. A big risk. The whole plan could have just died right there.
Again, that will slice you in half.
Yeah, there goes your arms. Anybody who complains about R2D2 fighting droids in this, not fighting stormtroopers like 20 years later, needs to like get some media literacy and be like, okay, this is a different movie. He doesn't have to have all the same powers 20 years later, you know?
Yeah, one of the things. Hey, you ever like had a car and then like 20 years later, that you have the car, but it's kind of like shittier and like the air conditioning doesn't work anymore and like the radio only picks up some channels and like you can't really turn it to the left very well. You kind of mostly have to take right turns. That's how I look at R2D2 of like why doesn't he fly around in the original trilogy? He flew around in the prequels. It's like, well, maybe those don't work anymore. Does Grievous know what's up? I can't remember like how much he knows. Is he looking at Palpatine like that's the big boss, or is he like that's the enemy?
I have to say, I have to feel like Grievous, I think, is probably just like a pawn of the Separatists. I don't feel like he's in on the plan.
Yeah. You sure?
I feel like it's cheating to watch this after watching Clone Wars because it works. It's like all that history is actually there this time and not just made up.
Yeah.
Because there is a problem of like they introduced Grievous in this one movie as someone they know, and then he's just gone by the end of the movie. And it's like kind of it doesn't within the context of one movie, he doesn't feel like a great villain.
Yeah. But I
But the
do.
Clone Wars just actively
Yeah.
adds to his character in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but I do like the idea, whether it was intentional or not, that all of the like henchmen essentially of the prequels are one third of Vader. You have the basically the Sith Lord driven by hate and Maul, the ex Jedi in Dooku, and the cyborg in Grievous.
That's a good point. It's like he took something from each person that he defeated,
Yeah. Granted, he didn't really defeat Maul, but you know,
or Grievous.
just Dooku. He cut his head off. I'd be down for more Grievous content in video form. I know there was like
Same.
maybe a I can't remember if it's canon or not. I don't think it is. I think it's Legends of like kind of Grievous's origin story, but I feel like that'd be like a cool animated movie I'd be down for. Of like Grievous is like this cool general leading his people, gets injured somehow in like some heroic moment. And like it's all a hero story of like you see things from his perspective and it ends with him being approached by Dooku and joining the separatist movement.
I
And he
like
thinks
that.
he's doing the right thing, but he's kind of a dick.
I've always thought that his episodes in Clone Wars are some of the most effective, especially Layer of
Yeah,
Grievous in season one. I think is the
yeah.
first episode of Clone Wars where I was like, oh wow, they're actually like doing something to add to these characters, and it's not just like random kid adventures.
One thing too is his. So we saw Deepa Palaba and um, Caleb Doom models in the finale arc of Clone Wars, and we're like, oh, that's weird that they made models for them for like half a second, and then they appeared in Bad Batch, so they clearly use the same models. They have an updated model in Grievous who is used for half a second in the opening kind of speech of the final Clone Wars arc. And it's like, why do you make a random Grievous model and spend all that time when you didn't have to? So maybe there is some like Grievous animated content in the works in kind of the style of the Clone Wars.
I would love it. I think Grievous is a really vicious and scary character that was underutilized in this movie, but
Yeah,
what one of my favorite villains of Star Wars.
yeah.
He has a lot of like horror movie elements to a lot of his episodes where it's like he's just this
Yeah,
terrifying force that can just not be stopped.
yeah. You ready to drink?
I'm preparing. Should we drink for the landing? Happy landing?
When he says it.
I'm drinking Atomic Pumpkin. It feels like a good combination of Star Wars and Halloween.
I'm drinking Jack and Coke, which is just a good combination.
That's a good point.
I just can we get a Palpatine commentary of Revenge of the Sith with Ian McDiarmid just like going what's through Sidious's like just narrating Sidious's thoughts throughout the entire movie.
How is
Just
it
like
all
all
part
his
of his
weird
master
looks to
plan?
R2D2. Like I want to know what Sidious is thinking in this moment.
He, he's really the one acting in this movie right now.
Another happy landing. Oh, and there's the Millennium Falcon
Yeah, look, we got
somewhere.
the Falcon.
Oh, yep, just
In
flying.
bottom
Oh,
right, right
just
there.
flying in
Yep.
right now. Technically not the Falcon, just the same ship. Or the same
No.
model of ship, I should say. Oh, great. Get ready to drink, because there should be some cameos in the background here. And I'm not talking characters, I'm talking actors. So, like, Orn Free Taa does not count.
Oh, so I was thinking cameos of characters,
Oh,
Clone
okay, we
Wars
could do that. Well,
characters.
then, Orn Free Taa, we're drinking for that. He's in Clone Wars, he's in Bad Batch. I want to know the biology, because he has four Twi'lek. Four Leku, where all of the other Twi'leks have two. Oh, is he just so fat he grew two more? What's the deal?
You see, he went to the director and he was like, "Can I get four?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay."
George
And
Lucas
that
is
was the
like, I
whole
don't
story.
care. George Lucas is like, I care the least amount of Star Wars canon than anyone else ever. Even people that have never watched Star Wars care more about Star Wars canon than me, which I find amazing when people try to debate Star Wars canon and like George Lucas's intent. Oh, Katie Lucas behind Palpatine's
You're right,
shoulder.
there she is. Not born in 1974.
Born in 1983, George Lucas's adopted daughter. And Orn Free Taa is the guy we're talking about behind Palpatine's other shoulder. The senator from Ryloth, which is home to the Twi'lek people.
I like that black guard thing in the background
Yeah,
with the mohawk on the top of his head.
yeah, very like Spartan kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm not counting Bail Organa as a cameo. He's just a small role in
He's
this
like a
movie.
main character, yeah.
Yeah. I do wish we had gotten a scene of the kind of the mini formation of the rebellion with the meeting of Bail Organa, Mon Mothma, and Padme, and I think maybe someone else was in that scene. I can't remember.
I'm forever gonna call that scene canon and say that she went to Mustafar with the intent, or at least in her mind, to kill Anakin.
Yeah.
Because it makes the movie better.
Yeah. Oh, look at all these fake pillars and
Oh, Anakin.
was it? I can't remember if it was you or someone else I was talking about that. I think Attack of the Clones would be miles better if they had approached it with the intent of Anakin and Padme had been friends for the last 10 years, but this is the kind of pinnacle of their relationship turning romantic, rather than they haven't seen each other in 10 years and now all of a sudden they love each other.
Yeah, I would like it if like kept in touch. They were kind of like these star-crossed, distant lovers, and this is the first time they've really been like in the same room together
Yeah.
for
Well,
that.
like,
Like, 'cause you still have that distance,
and
but
it's also like because they're in Attack of the Clones they're 24 and 19, so it's kind of like the first time that they're age appropriate to be in a relationship. So like they've
are you
interacted.
an angel?
Yeah, they've interacted and they've been friends, but their age gap has been kind of too much where they never really saw each other. She says I'm pregnant and like she has kids later, but like at this point, like if you line this up with the Clone Wars arc and start playing it, like at this point, Ahsoka's seeing visions of Anakin already turning to the dark, like has turned to the dark side, and Order 66 is going off. So like as much as I love that arc and it might be my favorite Clone Wars arc, it does not line up with this movie timeline wise.
Look, Ahsoka at this moment is in hyperspace on her way to Mandalore.
Yeah.
She ran into some problems. We'll get it in the Ahsoka show. That's the plot. It's going to take place between then and this little gap here. It turns out, Joe, there's a whole story worth of stuff that fills in the plot hole. And we're going to get an entire show just to fill in the one plot hole it didn't even need to get filled in the first place.
Wait, what? What plot hole?
Of why is this timeline not lining up?
No, I'm good on that. I think I think I like to just bring it up as like more of a joke, but it doesn't line up. I hope they also never explain it, and I doubt they ever will. But yeah, it doesn't exactly line up. All because fucking Padme had to tell Anakin she's pregnant. They couldn't write the. I mean, obviously they didn't know at the time that the Clone Wars arc was going to happen and all of that, but retroactively, I would have told George Lucas write the line as to tell us that she's pregnant, but Anakin already knows, and all of our timeline problems are solved.
Look, maybe she's been pregnant for a long time, and
And
she
just
just told
hasn't
him
told her
no.
husband for 8 months.
He's been at war. He's fighting the droids, defending
She just saw
democracy.
him when with Clovis like a month ago.
Look, all right, when Clovis is around, Padme, she gets all shaken up.
I
I
love
can't
how
blame
our
her.
Revenge of the Sith Drinkalong has turned into a let's shit talk fucking Clone Wars for no reason Drinkalong. Soon now, the new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful. I was a little ahead on that line. What if plot twist? It's Obi-Wan Kenobi and really the Kenobi Obi-Wan we saw um in A New Hope in the original trilogy was really Anakin who assumed Obi-Wan's identity, and it was all a bait
I
and
thought
switch. There was
I was
that
thinking,
twist. There was that theory and twist that it was going to be like the big twist of this movie was essentially going to be that Obi-Wan was Luke and Leia's father, not Anakin. And I'm like that. I feel like that would have angered fans to the point and like changed the canon so much that Star Wars would have just died. Like the fandom, like kind of like how season 8 killed Game of Thrones. That would have just killed Star Wars, and no one would really go back and watch it, and no one would care about it.
Natalie Portman looking good in this scene
Yeah.
here. She had like three scenes in this movie, but
Yeah,
you know,
that's another minor problem I have with this movie is I feel like Padme's whole existence in this movie is to give birth to Luke and Leia. Where the first movie, she's like has things, she's doing stuff, she's fighting against kind of the separatists before they're the separatists. Second movie, she's doing stuff. She's fighting. She's in that gladiator thing with them, and in this one, she's just kind of here and pregnant.
look, Anakin's having visions right now of Padme dying in childbirth, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
So maybe Ahsoka's visions of Anakin turning to the dark side are precedent
yeah,
rather than concurrent.
maybe. I don't know. Question: what in your opinion is Natalie Portman's best performance? Because I have one that will surprise you.
Well, I was hard to not say Black Swan. She's like insanely good in Black Swan.
Hot take? Haven't. Well, that's not a hot take, but I just haven't seen Black Swan, so not Black Swan.
I like Natalie Portman quite a bit, though. I think she's great and stuff.
Mine, which I think would surprise people, would be Jackie.
Oh, Jackie is awesome. I didn't think you would like Jackie.
I don't want to say alternate history. I mean, I do like alternate history things, but I like things that like make me think of things in like new perspective. And like I've never thought of the fact of like when like JFK's head exploded, that like his wife sitting in the car wasn't like, oh, the president's head just exploded. It's like, no, she was like sitting in the car in a parade, having a grand old time, just waving at the public when half a foot from her face, her husband's head just like exploded. And they're like, let's, examine the aftermath of that. And it's like, yeah, you would be super fucked up for a long time.
Yeah, I like the movie a lot. The same director is doing this Spencer movie about uh, Diana, Princess Diana,
Oh, is
played
that the
by
one with
Kristen
Kristen Stewart?
Stewart.
Yeah, that looks interesting too. All right, I need your opinion here. Who looks better, open shirt Anakin or shirtless Ben Solo?
I'm a fan of the open shirt Anakin right here. I think he's looking pretty hot right now. He's got that casual hotness, you know. I feel like shirtless Ben
He
Solo,
was trying a little
he's
too
like
hard.
covered in oil. He's trying a little too hard.
Yeah.
Hayden's like, oh, I just kind of got out of bed. You know, this is
Yeah.
how I look after I have sex with
Hair's
Natalie Portman.
hair's a little messy, but not too messy, But I could buy that he just got out of bed. He like ran his fingers through his hair like once or twice, but
Yeah, he gave it an effort. You know,
yeah,
what a power couple.
yeah.
That can never go wrong. For some reason, I'd love to visit Coruscant of all the Star Wars planets, even though it's just a giant city. Like I've been to cities. What can this be that's not like a normal city?
Yeah.
You know, but there's something about a planet. There's something about a ginormous city full of like layers and levels of city.
Yeah. I've always wondered, is it built on a planet or is this essentially like a giant satellite? Because I know there is a
It's
Central
probably in the lore
Park.
somewhere.
I know there's a Central Park like land thing somewhere where there's like an open area with trees and shit that we learn about in Catalyst. But for the most part, yeah, it's just a city with tunnels, and you go down and there's levels and stuff. But I've always been curious, like, is it a planet or is it more like a satellite that's just massive?
I've kind of thought that it was like a planet that got taken over and kind of like turned into this technological city. You know,
Uh,
because there's like a Sith temple there, so there's kind of like there has to be some. I would admit I don't know how the Force works,
yeah.
but
That's not how the
uh,
Force works. Do you got a drink for that if I quote something from a different movie entirely?
I don't know. Tried that earlier, and you didn't drink for that one. But
I feel
here
like they've
comes
been
Yoda
saying
giving
light
some of the
side and
most
dark side,
memorable.
and we haven't been paying attention.
Yeah,
Looking for characters in the background. Obi-Wan cameo. We got it.
if
That's
you
the
don't
guy
know,
from A New
Obi-Wan is a
Hope.
character in the Clone Wars.
He appears briefly in Return of the Jedi. Bospity. More Quinlan Voss content, please.
For real.
He survived Order 66. Put him in Kenobi. Played by Jason Momoa. What if that's who Kumail Nanjiani's playing?
That'd be awesome.
I don't know if I
I,
believe him or buy
I don't
him
know.
as Quinlan Voss, but
Look, I saw him in the Eternals trailer. He looks kind of fit all of a sudden. You know, he's built up. I could maybe he pulls it off.
you see that interview I sent you by Rolling Stone?
No.
He basically said he's playing a new type of character we've seen before, or like a new version of a type of character we've seen before.
Okay.
And I'm
Well,
like, I don't know what that means.
yeah, I don't know what that means. You sent that to me on Facebook?
Yeah,
Oh. A new version of a character you've seen before.
something
That
like that.
sounds like a Marvel kind of logic.
Yeah. Sounds like trying to say nothing, but also saying something. You're getting played, dog. He knows you're not gonna get. Okay, but let's be real here. The Jedi were kind of being dicks because there's multiple ways you can be a Jedi Master. One of them is if you train a Padawan to be a Jedi Knight. For all intents and purposes, he trained Ahsoka to be a Jedi Knight. They said, hey, if you come back, we will give you your Jedi Knight status. And she said, nah, I'm good. So them
Look,
being like, we're not granting you the rank of Master because your apprentice decided not to come back, even though you fully trained her as you were told to. Kinda some bullshit.
what?
This is outrageous.
It's just too many good lines.
It's so weird seeing characters I haven't really noticed before because they're in the background, but I've now seen a bunch in the Clone Wars. Like the guy with the horns coming down seems like he's in the background of every goddamn episode of Clone Wars. I don't think I've ever noticed him in this movie before. Also,
But
Ki-Adi-Mundi is my favorite background Jedi. In Legends, I don't know if they transferred his. You know his story or like the story of his species in Legends, right?
no, I do not.
Basically, of his species, for every like one male born, like 70 women are born, and so basically, um, to keep his species alive, he is allowed to go back once a year and just like run through the women of his home planet.
Wow, we're living the life right there. Call of Duty. It's hard work, but
Somebody's got to do it, you know.
someone's got to do it.
I want to know what creepy ass perv writers like. That's this guy's story.
Yeah.
Whenever he's not in Star Wars, he's running, or whenever he's not at the Jedi Council, he's just running through the women of his home planet.
He just goes back and he fucks like hardcore. I also feel like it's bullshit because Anakin just spent how many years fighting in the leading battle
Yeah,
of this like
yeah,
massive interplanetary war,
yeah.
and they're like, nah, man.
The Jedi are being dicks for not granting him the rank of Master. Let's be real. Like, there's no reason for him not to be a Jedi Master. He's number
They
one. He's
just
the
think
most
he's
powerful. That's a scientifically proven fact based on his midichlorian count. He also has basically been their top general throughout this war. He did what he had to do in training a Padawan to the rank of Jedi Knight. She just was like, nah, you guys screwed me over, I'm out. And they're
I do
still
think
like,
that
nah, you're not a Jedi Master yet. We don't believe you are a Jedi Master.
I do think he, in the eyes of the Jedi Council, holds some blame for Ahsoka's turn because they see him as like this problematic, like
But she didn't
loose
do anything
cannon.
wrong. They blamed her for stuff she didn't do, and then she's like, hey, you guys suck, I'm out. It's not like he trained her to do something bad. She was blamed for something she had no involvement in. And they know she didn't have any involvement in.
They're just stressing right now.
Yeah, and if you've seen Clone Wars, basically it's the season finale of season 6. Um, Yoda's definitely pondering a lot of shit right now as far as Anakin goes, because essentially he's been told there's another Skywalker, and most likely, and he's like, one of the wills told him there's another Skywalker, followed by the sound of a baby crying. So he's got thoughts about that, and then he asked the will, is Anakin the like chosen one, the one from the prophecy, and basically the will was like, yeah, prophecies don't always go how you expect them to go. Is that a wig? That looks like a bad wig. He didn't grow his hair for
Probably
this
is.
movie, right?
This definitely came after the let's recruit Padme to the rebellion arc started slowly beginning,
Yeah.
and then he got dropped.
Well, it was just that one scene, right, of Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, and
But I think it leans towards like because there was the original idea that she was going to show up to Mustafar with a knife, ready to kind of take Anakin down, and that was going to be what triggered him to
yeah.
rebel against her and say, "Oh, you turned her against me." And this scene does hint that they have like these opposing views of what democracy is and what it
Yeah.
can do, and
Which I mean
the
goes
goals
back
of the
to
republic.
which goes back to Attack of the Clones when they're kind of having that flirty scene, laughing and like next to each other, where he was like, "Oh, like I think democracy should be, a bunch of people in a room talking," and Padme's like, "Well, that's what we do." But we don't always agree, and he's like, "Well, someone should force him to agree," and then and then she has a concerned look, and he's like, "Oh, I was joking. Yeah." Is there
Just a joke,
cameos?
folks.
I'm scanning, not seeing anybody.
We're getting the monologue
Oh,
of the
George
century, though.
Lucas, bottom left corner, and Katie Lucas. That's a drink in the blue.
Yeah, we got a drink for
Those
Lucas.
characters
Good
were
line.
in Arc of the Clone Wars as well.
If you don't drink for George Lucas, who do you drink for?
I don't know.
Can you do the whole monologue, Joe?
No. Oh, no, we'll see. Oh, shit. Every time I try to think of this guy's name, all I have to do is look up Palpatine's blue front, and it will tell me, but I can never remember the guy's name. The horny blue guy. Palpatine's blue
Hardy Blue. I think that was George Lucas. We just saw him.
Palpatine's blue front. I love that it's also not like it's a kind of Masameda. Masameda is basically the only guy in Star Wars at this point, besides maybe Dooku, that knows everything. Like he's all in on the plan here. The blue guy, Masameda, and he during the time of the Empire is essentially the face of the Empire, to the point that many people believe him to be the Emperor. Because, Palpatine's all scarred and deformed, so he just tries not to show his face much, so he kind of shoves Masameda out there to give speeches and talk to the people.
That's cool. I didn't know that at all. Where is that from?
One of the books. I don't know. I didn't read it. I just heard. I think Alex Damon. I heard Alex Damon or someone from Star Wars Explained talk about it. Maybe it's in Lost Stars, actually. Now that I think about it, I think it might actually be Lost Stars, because I also remember the line where Grand Moff Tarkin shows up, and the person has the inner dialogue of like trying to figure out, is his name Moff Tarkin and his title is like Grand, or is his title Grand Moff and just his last name's Tarkin? And they don't know
Meta.
the answer. Trivia
I like
fact.
Lost Stars a lot. That's one of the best Star Wars books I've read, especially the Disney era stuff.
Yeah, it's one of the early first ones too. And trivia fact, his name is Williff Tarkin. Grand Moff Williff Tarkin.
He's also in the Clone Wars. A lot of Clone Wars talk this episode.
Yeah.
This is essentially like a finale to the Clone Wars, like a movie that's a finale.
Yeah. Basically, the Clone Wars has two finales: the finale arc of of season 7 and this movie. Sith and Jedi are similar in almost every way.
Almost every way.
Quest for greater power.
I do love this scene. The music is really good here too.
Yeah. The tragedy. Just a quick question. You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Oh. I like how he says it's a Sith legend when really it's his story.
I know. You think it's some ancient lore, you're like, oh, some
You
Sith
feel
history.
like
It's
it's
like,
some
oh, my master.
That's why
Life.
Ian McDiarmid gets all the credit. In his smirk, in his smile, they don't need the dialogue. They don't need anything to tell you that you realize he's the apprentice he's talking about. And just his like weird little evil smirk.
Yeah, his smirk towards the end just gives it all away.
People from death.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be
unnatural.
Unnatural.
Great line in episode 9. So powerful. The only thing
Oh
using
wow,
his power.
Joe, you messed up the line there.
I don't give a shit. I'll drink.
Has there been a single monologue that's influenced like Star Wars meme culture more than this one?
No. That's from death, but not himself.
He's acting as Sola right now. You can read all that in that performance. And Anakin right in that second buys into it. Like that's the moment that Anakin turns to Darth Vader. Like you can see that in Hayden's look too. Like that scene sells all of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, because like even throughout the Clone Wars, every basically action of Anakin, whenever he starts to go evil, is like any moment where he's about to lose something. Whether it's Obi-Wan, he goes crazy and kills that guy when he thinks Obi-Wan's dead. All the times he thinks he's gonna lose Padme, he starts going ham on people.
And
Like,
I think ultimately the divide between Jedi and Sith is whether or not you accept or fear death
yeah,
in
pretty
a
much.
way. You know, like Jedi are able to accept their role in nature and accept their role in the universe and that they're part of a larger thing and not the force that guides the thing. And the Sith want to control the force. They want to be the ones who have the control over all of that. And I love the way that plays out in that scene. You can see Anakin's really struggling and he's not getting the answers he wants to get from the Jedi Council. They're not giving him the clarity
Reassurance.
he wants to get.
Yeah.
So of course he turns to somebody else because they didn't give him the answers he wanted. They didn't give him any answers. They wouldn't even like give him the chance to ask the questions.
Oh, look, it's the guy from Fallen Order. Is that a
Yeah, look,
cameo,
crossover
Rick?
with our game nights.
Yeah.
I'll drink for him. Of course, you could drink for literal Chewbacca,
Yeah.
but
Captain Tarful, baby. I like how this is all of this scene essentially with the Wookiees is George Lucas giving a middle finger to the people that didn't like the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. He's like, "Oh, you didn't like these weird, uh, you know, woodland creatures fighting against the evil guys? Well, I'm gonna give it to you more. I'm gonna give you more of it, and I'm gonna go way
for like an
harder
hour
on it."
long.
Yeah, he's like, way more of it, way harder. Just in the Tarzan roar, there was a scene that I think was one of the Ewoks that had a Tarzan roar, and people hated that. And he's like, "Oh, you didn't like the one Ewok with a Tarzan roar? I'm gonna give you two Wookiees doing a Tarzan roar, and you're gonna like it."
From that moment on, like this movie just does not stop. Like we get action after action after action. I love that Lucas in a way is like this vengeful little like teenager. People
Yeah,
will like, I don't like Jar Jar Binks, and he's like, well, he's gonna be in every movie anyway.
yeah.
He's gonna be in more episodes of
That's
Clone Wars.
that's
Add him
that's
into
like the
more.
that's like the one thing George Lucas did relent on is when people were like, "I don't like Jar Jar Binks." He was basically cut out. He was like barely in Episode 2, and then he's like in half a scene in this movie. He does put him in Clone Wars and stuff, but that's I feel like the one thing where George Lucas was like whatever on if people when people didn't like it. Everything else, if people didn't like shit, he's like, "Oh, you don't like it? Well, here's it 3 times more."
I want to get an alternate universe where George Lucas like just go went and all in on Jar Jar. Give us the arc that he wanted to give us with Jar Jar. You know, play it out.
I still don't fully buy in Darth Jar Jar. Well, not that I think people. I think Darth Jar Jar is like a meme that somehow people bought into and think is real. And that is the last time that Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi stood face to face. Every other time after that, it's Darth Vader and Obi-Wan.
It's heartbreaking. It's gonna be a rough ride from here on out. That last act is like a hard thing to get
Yeah.
through.
I was listening to a Force Center today. Oh, there's Commander Cody. That's a drink.
Let's drink for Cody. Please come back alive.
Holy fucking fake face on one of the clones in the background. Holy shit. It's like the worst de-aging I've ever seen. I don't know if I've noticed it before. His face looked more plastic than Woody in Toy Story 1.
A lot of the clones look really bad in this movie. That's the biggest problem I think of both of these movies is just like the I don't know the distance between yourself and the digital thing. I don't know what you call it, like the
They weren't
uncanny
ready for it
valley
yet.
between you
Yeah,
and
yeah, the
a
Uncanny
digital
Valley, but
thing.
basically digital. Trivia question: between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, how many sets of clone armor were made for these movies?
Oh, I couldn't even imagine. Hundreds.
Zero. Every
Oh,
single one of
you mean
them.
talking physically? Of course,
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking like digitally made.
No, I have no
Yeah,
idea. I don't even think anyone knows that answer, but yeah. Structurally
yeah. There
made,
was
zero of
no
them were.
physical, and I think that was a mistake. I think
Oh,
he,
yeah,
at
for
least
sure.
having like Commander Cody or one or two of the clones be like your guide. The way the Clone Wars
Why?
does it, like they have their three or four that are like our clone
Oh,
characters, and that could have really helped both of these movies a lot.
yeah.
Is giving us some kind of in into the clones and
Yeah. Yeah,
what is
if
even
like
happening.
like if Captain Rex and Commander Cody were like relatively main characters in these movies. And almost I think it would be interesting if they were like very like obviously both played by Tamara Morrison, but also like very different characters. And you can kind of see that even though they're I mean, we see that obviously in the Clone Wars and all that, but to see it in these movies. But the clones take like for a war called the Clone Wars. Granted, we see like the very beginning and the very end of the Clone Wars. We don't really see the Clone Wars themselves in these movies, which again I think is a mistake. But um, uh, one of the things I was gonna bring up was I was listening to Force Center today, and they were kind of talking about the Anakin and Obi Wan relationship, and the kind of the main downfall of it is Anakin saw Obi Wan like a father, and Obi Wan saw Anakin like a brother, and that was kind of because that's kind of how they refer to each other. It's like, oh, Anakin's like or Obi Wan's like a father to me, and then Obi Wan's like, you are a brother to me. You know, it's like that.
Hmm.
Them kind of not seeing eye to eye on what their relationship is kind of the downfall of it.
And Anakin never had a parental relationship, but really, like he had his mom when he was very young, but he lost her at a young age, and
Yeah,
he never had a father, whether literally or not.
yeah. I think that's partially why he clung to Palpatine because I think Palpatine kind of recognized that. It's like, I'll be your daddy. Imagine having Palpatine as your dad. This guy. Does this count as a cameo? This guy's like not really like a famous actor, but he's in basically all of the Mad Max movies.
I'll drink for Mad Max.
He flies like the helicopter in the
Unfortunately,
first
the
Mad
war.
Max. He's also the same species as the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels.
Cool character.
I think we'll be seeing him again very soon.
I like that guy in the black. Like they're just not even trying to hide the fact that they're planning. You know, they're just
They're scheming. Yeah.
disgusted by Obi-Wan. The scheming.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing the Grand Inquisitor very soon.
Do
Maybe,
you?
maybe in a scene with a character currently on screen.
Is that a prediction?
That's rumor that I started after I read an interview with Jason Isaacs, who voiced the Grand Inquisitor.
Potential Oscar contender for this year. Check out Mask. Great performance in that.
Oh, Jason Isaacs?
Yeah.
Cool. I always liked him. Saw an interview with him a couple years ago where him kicking Dobby down the stairs in what Chamber of Secrets was completely ad-libbed by him. I don't know why I
He
felt the need to
elevates
bring
that
that up.
role to such a
Yeah,
memorable. Like that's not even the franchise is talking about, but like,
yeah.
what a performance.
Yeah, seeing him as like this high and mighty top guy in the first one, and then kind of in the background you see his slow descent into like homelessness almost by the eighth one.
Hmm.
I hate the sound of this animal. Like it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. It's so annoying.
Huh.
Just like oh look, immune.
Yeah, yeah. What is it?
Immune,
Moon.
yeah, immune.
I realized I was pronouncing it wrong in my head the whole time I read Darth Plagueis, and then I had to like adjust my mental pronunciation of the word "mune" because I was saying "moon," like the celestial object.
Yeah. It's weird to me how like I know I can't get into Darth Plagueis because it's not canon. I'm like, well, this it's not real, so like, what's the point in reading it? But like, none of Star Wars is real, and I get that. But also, it's just like I know I couldn't get into the book knowing it's not like currently like you know what I'm saying? It's
It's
not.
canon in my mind, no matter what they tell me.
Yeah, and I get that, and like people that still read the Legend stuff, hey, enjoy yourself. But for me, I just personally know. Number one, I don't enjoy reading. And two, I just know I couldn't get into it because I know it's like doesn't count. So
I also read it before it was Legend, so
yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
think I would have read it if it was now.
Yeah. Hello there.
General Kenobi.
There's no way he doesn't say hello there at least once in Kenobi, right?
He has to. And I think we also get like a General Kenobi from someone. Someone will recognize him and be like, "Oh, General Kenobi from the Clone Wars." And he'll say, "That's something I haven't heard in a long time." I don't know
I
about that
still I
whole
still hope no one
exchange,
says
but
Obi-Wan. They did it perfectly in Rebels, and I hope it'll be hard. But I mean, granted, I guess if he goes by Ben the whole time, and that's why the show's called Kenobi and not Obi-Wan.
I think a lot of it's gonna be about him like finding his role as being Kenobi. Like
Yeah.
he's kind of put that aside, and I think it's gonna be him like trying to discover if he actually is who he is in a
Yeah.
way. Like
Yeah.
the self blame of what he does in this movie and the fall of Anakin. God, what a cool.
I still love the like knowing the history of that pose and everything with Rebels. It's amazing, but I just love the I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Dooku, and all he does is spin shit. It's like,
I know.
what was the training lesson? 30 seconds.
Dooku was busy that day, you know.
Yeah, Dooku had to train Savage and Asajj.
Saz Ventress should have been in this movie.
Yeah. She was dead, I believe, though, so. R.I.P.
You got the book right up there, Dark Disciple.
Yeah. I have
We got
not
our
read
Saz
it,
Ventress.
but it's already basically all been spoiled for me, so whatever. And now I've just spoiled it for everyone else. Like, all of these should be real people in suits.
At least give us like a Commander Cody or some one or two central characters.
Yeah.
I love the design of all these droids. Like people,
I
know.
mean, I love
They
the
look so
idea
cool.
of all of the droid and everything basically in the prequels being designed to look like the people that designed them. Like the battle droids look like the Geonosians. The clones, like with the fin and stuff on their helmet, look like the Kaminoans, and like everything looks like the people that created them.
There's so much detail to this, and like the CGI is so
Hmm.
detailed. It looks really good in 4K right now.
Yeah.
But
How are you watching it? What's your
I have it on my monitor. Well, technically it's 2K. I would say then
well?
because it's not gonna be in 4K.
What's your like? Is it a Blu-ray or is it Disney Plus? Is it?
I got the Disney Plus edition going right now.
Ah, okay. Oh, I hate this animal so much. I love it so much when it dies. Jesus.
Grievous's ship is so cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Jimmy Neutron ship. If you ever watched that show,
I gotta go dig up my Legos. I have Legos of so many of these different ships.
I had a remote control Jimmy Neutron car, and it always reminded me of that.
Star Wars is the only franchise who can still do swipe transitions and they get away with it.
Yeah. Hey, George Lucas just discovered fucking iMovie when he made this. Okay.
I can't believe Samuel L. Jackson's in this movie.
It's crazy that like this isn't even his most iconic like franchise role.
What an actor, man.
Like Nick Fury, absolutely more iconic than this at this point because he's essentially
For
like
sure.
kind of the face and star of the MCU. Where I wouldn't even, he's not even like top 10 face and star of Star Wars.
People forget he's in this compared to MCU where he's like a prominent character,
Yeah.
you know?
Like if you were to do the Mount Rushmore of the MCU, I feel like most people would put Nick Fury on it. Where like if you were to do the Mount Rushmore of Star Wars, like no one would even think to put Samuel L. Jackson in it. I love the little
Poor
Death Star
clone.
plans accenting his desk. Like
Yeah.
he's like in their face about it. He's like, bitch, you don't even know what I've got planned. I'm gonna taunt you with it, and then you're gonna retroactively, when you see the Death Star, realize this motherfucker's been planning this shit from the beginning.
This movie is just so good. The detail here. Palpatine is playing with such confidence. He already knows he's in at this point. Like
Yeah, when
he's
Dooku died, there. I was gonna bring it up, and then we started talking about something else. When Dooku died, his like shoulders dropped and he relaxed, and I feel like that's the moment where he's like, "It's done, it's over. We're just going through the motions to get to where I need things to get to, but like everything I've been planning is done. Like I won."
I can already feel myself getting emotional for the finale, and we're not even close to being there yet.
Timestamp. I'm at 103:11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
I'm like 2 seconds ahead of you somehow.
Well. And I guess this
Dockside.
fresca behind them is like some Jedi Sith battle from back in the day. No, never view of the Jedi.
You're the Sith Master. Oh, it's you're the Sith Lord. I know.
I didn't realize he revealed it. I mean, I've seen this movie a million times, but just looking at the time step, I never realized he revealed it an hour into the movie. I would have said, "Oh yeah, there's like 30 minutes left when Anakin realizes Palpatine's the Sith Lord." I've never realized it was.
You're the Sith Lord. I still don't know if that's supposed to be a twist or not.
I think it is. I truly
How is
believe it
that
is.
possible? Like,
I
he's the same
think okay.
actor.
I think it's not. If you've seen the original trilogy, it's not a twist. You know, right? Especially it's the same actor. But I think George Lucas knew, like, okay, the twist of the original trilogy is ruined. So I think he's like wanted a twist for this trilogy. So if you're showing someone Star Wars for the first time, right? And you show them the original trilogy first, then him being the ultimate bad guy is the twist. You know?
The twist of what? Like, we know he's the ultimate bad guy.
No,
If
but
you've
that's what I'm.
seen the original
No, but that's what
trilogy.
I'm saying. If you've never seen Star Wars before, right, and you're
Ah,
watching
okay,
it for the
okay.
first time
Yeah.
in chronological order, then this is the twist. Instead of Anakin being, so you get a twist either way, no matter which order you watch it in.
I like that. Because if you watch it release order, you still get that big Anakin is a
Yeah,
father twist.
yeah. But if you
Or
watch it
Darth Vader
in,
is Anakin twist.
but if you watch it in chronological order, obviously with Clone Wars and stuff, it's not. But if it's just solely the movies, then I believe this would be the twist. But it's also kind of telegraphed super hard, so I feel like most people would be able to piece it together.
I'd recommend watching Clone Wars, even though it kind of spoils the twist. I feel like the
Well, no,
moment
but
is
like
a
people
reveal in a
know.
way.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you were to only watch the movies, right? Like, I still feel like, yeah, everyone should watch the Clone Wars if they're a Star Wars fan. Episode one or seasons 1 and 2 are kind of not as great as the other seasons. They're still good, but I would recommend everyone watch the first 3 seasons. If you get through the first 3 seasons and you're like, I don't like this or I don't care for this, then you can stop. But ugh,
This is really satisfying with the history of
yeah.
characters. I guess that's your really is an android because he has like a heart. Like
Yeah, I don't
a,
know. I must have been a dumbass kid that looked at that and been like, "Yep, this guy's not a cyborg at all."
he's at the point though where he's lost so much of his literal humanity
He's
that
more machine now than
he's
man.
more machine than man. Literally, yep. So uncivilized, Joe.
Fuck. I was just about. I was gonna wait closer to him saying the line, so it timed up. But
I wanted to beat you to one at least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You were my brother, Anakin. There, drink.
It's a little early. A little bit early.
I love. There's an image at the end from the end of the movie where Palpatine is laying over a burnt Anakin, and there's the KFC logo on the side, and it says, "I ordered my apprentice original recipe, not extra crispy."
Extra crispy, the only way to
I
order
love how he's
anything.
waiting till that. Like this should have been like well, not a phone call, but like a communicator. Like, hey, Palpatine's the Sith Lord. And I also love Mace Windu's reaction here of a Sith Lord, like he's never heard the term before. He's
Yeah,
like, yeah, I
like
think
that.
Palpatine's a Sith Lord. And he's like, a Sith Lord?
I like the yeah, I like that Anakin say that to himself until he was in this moment with Mace Windu. He probably walked to like Mace Windu's corridor. He's like, "Hey, can we go for a walk to like the most dramatic room possible?" And he was like, "Sure." What do you want to talk about? Anakin was like, hold on. We got to get to the most dramatic room we can find on the Jedi Council."
And I
No
also have the
fan.
headcanon theory that I'm rolling with until I'm proven otherwise, that he tells him to wait in the council chambers because in the council chambers is where they have the ceremony to grant you the role of Jedi Master from Jedi Knight. And so that's why he told him to wait in the council chambers. Is Mace Windu had it in his mind that he and his boys were going to roll up, take Palpatine out, they were gonna come. Mace Windu was gonna come back and be like, "Bro, I was wrong about you. I'm sorry. We are granting you the rank of Master." Do the whole ceremony, and boom, Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Master.
And then you get the conflict of he's Jedi Master, but does he leave the order for Padme or not?
Yeah.
But that's not where they went with it. He's conflicted.
I mean, I think he leaves. I think
I do too.
if you were to do a what if of Anakin not turning, I think as soon as Clone Wars are over, Mace Windu, Anakin rolls up and instead of cutting off Palpatine, he just stabs it right into Palpatine's heart. Maybe Palpatine talks a little too long and say he's the one that's been putting the visions of Padme in Anakin's head, and he just lunges the lightsaber into Palpatine's chest, kills Palpatine, and is like, I don't feel like I've been living the Jedi path. I'm gonna leave the Jedi Order, and then Ahsoka, and Padme just raised Luke and Leia away from the Jedi Order and away from the world of politics, just chilling in a vacation home on Naboo.
It's gonna get rough here on out, Joe. We've got a long hour ahead of us.
Yeah.
I wasn't emotionally prepared for this experience today. I'll tell you that.
Do you think those are real Hayden Christensen tears, or do you think they had to put some shit in his eyes? What is
Probably
that in
got the eye
the left? Is
drops,
that a treadmill just in Padme's room?
Look, Natalie Portman's got to be in shape. She's a Hollywood actress. Unfortunately, you got to sell your body as much as your performance when you're an actress.
Especially if you work for Harvey Weinstein, definitely got to sell that body.
Oh God.
Kit Fisto is amazing.
Kit Fisto is so cool.
They're like, what if a Jamaican was Jedi? And instead of dreads, he just had long green hair. Like, you hear his voice in the Clone Wars, and that was basically like George Lucas's mind.
I am the
like,
Senate.
What if a Rastafarian was Jedi? His lightsaber hilts are cool. Just like the kind of gold.
Oh God, just slaughtering these characters. Oh no, Kit Fisto. Oh God,
This fight should have been so much more like something. I don't know.
At least they went between Mace Windu and him. Like it would have been really, really cool to see him. He just like slaughters right through 3 Jedi. You're like, oh, what the hell?
There's so much.
He gets like
I'm
an actual
noticing
fighting with Windu.
I don't know if it's the 4K or what it is, but I'm noticing so much more. Like there's scenes where that's definitely not Ian McDermott's real face. It's like a CGI face over some stuntman's body.
Every time I watch this movie, I get in this moment right here where I'm like, maybe it'll go differently. Like maybe Anakin let us get there in time, and he'll realize that
All of the
Palpatine's the
people
bad guy.
below them on Coruscant just, you know, pounds of shards of glass just falling on top of them, murdering them all.
Yeah.
His face just, he is
He's
loving life
his
right now.
face
This is
acting.
maybe the, even if he loses this fight, this was the best like 2 minutes of Palpatine's life right here. Except for maybe that time he kicked Maul's ass, but because he loved that moment too.
Yep.
But you're with me on this, like all this. I'm an old man. I'm weak. It's like an act, right, for Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like an act. You have lost. No, no, you will die. He's a traitor. He's the traitor. I have the power to save the one you love. You must choose. Listen to him, Anakin.
Joe's got
Don't
subtitles on now.
let him kill me. I've had subtitles on this whole time. I just also know the quotes. I don't watch TV without subtitles. Oh, dude. You need some lotion or something. You need a new skin regimen.
Need some goop.
Yeah. Some vagina scented candles. Like, I am the Senate. And that ties back to Palpatine's line about Dooku of he was too dangerous to be left alive. And in this, basically Mace Windu sealed his own fate by saying that, because at this point Anakin now sees the Sith and the Jedi as no different. And the Jedi aren't helping him and the Sith promising to save his wife, so why would he not choose the Sith? Oh,
And you can tell because as soon as he's in the moment of power, like he's not the old weak man anymore. He's immediately in control. So like that weak man thing, that weak show he put on was
yeah,
just a show.
yeah. Alright, real take here. No, no memes, no nothing. Did Mace Windu live?
There's no fucking way.
Alright.
I mean, he might come back for some future thing, and I could see them retconning him to being alive, but he just got blasted out of a window into like
My apprentice.
you could easily come up with an excuse, but I think he's pretty dead.
Seeing people say his turn was so quick, to me he turned in like that ballet scene. Or like that turn started in that ballet scene.
Yeah, I mean, he just took an hour and a half to turn. Like, plus two whole movies before that that kind of set the character up in this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, all of Anakin's whole arc is I can't lose what I love. And basically Palpatine's like, I can stop that from happening, dog. Which also in a weird way, does it Tristan went away. Hope can you hear us, Tristan?
I can.
Alright, so does that kind of lessen the whole him saving Luke thing because it's another thing of him killing Palpatine because he can't risk losing what he loves again?
Interesting.
It's all the same thing. He can't risk losing Luke. He loves Luke. Luke is part of Padme. Luke is part of himself. And so he kills Palpatine to keep Luke alive.
Look, I think what I'm reading it is that in that moment when he sees Palpatine killing Luke, he realizes that the person I put my faith in to save the ones I
Sandwich.
love is the one who's taking away the ones that I love from me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's realizing that moment that I thought Palpatine would save the ones I love, like he mentioned here, but in reality, he's the one killing them.
yeah. Rise of Skywalker.
Rise, Lord Vader.
Ooh.
Oh God, Yoda.
Because he's having visions of what Ahsoka's seeing right now. He's like, Ahsoka's seeing some bad shit. Timeline's a little off, but she's seeing it.
Yeah, he's like, God, the continuity here is not great, guys. Gotta get back on track right now. He just looks insane right
Yeah.
now. That is not the result of electrocution. I don't know if that's what electric burns look like. I've been burnt a handful of times in my life. It doesn't look like that.
Yeah. His name is Joby-Wan Kenobi,
An
goddammit.
enemy of the Republic. I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick, Joe, before we get to the end here. But good luck.
Alright.
I'll be back in a moment.
Alright. I will entertain the audience. Alright.
Go visit our temple and kill the younglings.
Obviously, if you're watching the movie, Anakin Skywalker is no more. So hence, Tristan Skywalker is no more. And R.I.P. Tristan Skywalker. Hello, Darth Mayer. Joby-Wan Kenobi still alive and kicking, so he gets this day. So you have killed all the Jedi in the temple. Go to the Mustafar system. Bound Viceroy Gunray. There's a theory out there that Viceroy Gunray and the other one, the other Nemoidian. I gotta look up both Nemoidians before I drop this fact. Nemoidian Star Wars. Newt Gunray. Oh, that's his name. Viceroy Newt Gunray. Were actually named after former President Ronald Reagan, Gunray Reagan, and Newt Gingrich. Newt Gunray, Newt Gingrich, Ronald Reagan. The more you know. Ah. This is an iconic shot.
Just in time for the iconography. I ran in.
Reflected by his grandson walking in to the base on Crate. Also, if you noticed on our podcast, I had to make a slight change. Tristan Skywalker is no more, obviously, and so now we have given rise to Darth Mayer. So, with the death of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader has arisen. So, had to make a quick change.
I have risen. I'm now Darth Mayer. I get to be the heel, Joe. My heel turn has happened off screen.
Yeah, you might regret that, Commander Cody.
Yeah, you're about to get killed by that, Commander Cody.
No, he lives, but it would have made his job a lot easier. Commander Cody. I want the story of Palpatine having to do like 300 of these fucking things. By like 290, he's like, bro, execute Order 66. I got more.
I need a drink for this one,
Execute Order 66. Commander Groot, execute Order 66. Fuck yeah, that thing died! R.I.P. that annoying monster thing. You have yet to see the most emotional Order 66 death. Ki-Adi-Mundi, the horniest man in Star Wars. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, like all of these new planets are drinks, by the way. Felucia. Ugh, so much whiskey.
Oh, God.
Ayla Secura. That booty, though. That was so, like, pathetic. She's just like, I'm dying. Ugh. So much death.
Oh, no.
Do you think when Luke Skywalker told Chewbacca he met a guy named Yoda, that Chewbacca was like, oh shit, Yoda! Me and him go fucking way back, man!
Yeah, he was like that guy.
Fucking,
Did I ever tell you about the Clone Wars?
Do you think when Ahsoka met Luke that because there's a
Fort
R.I.P.
Clune's
Plo
got to
Koon.
be alive.
He died.
God, they can't all be dead.
Do you think there's a moment where Luke and Ahsoka meet where Chewbacca's there? Chewbacca's like, Ahsoka, like, what up? We've hung out. Because there's that whole arc where Ahsoka gets captured as a slave and Chewbacca's already there. Which is kind of dumb in all of canon. Chewbacca, the first time we should see a Chewbacca in canon is episode 4. Hot take.
Or maybe like in some scene now running around in the background type thing.
Yeah,
You know,
and
like
be
not
like, and George
interacting
could
with
be
Yoda.
like in a commentary, hey, see that one right there? That's Chewbacca. Not like, hey, there's a guy right next to Yoda. That's Chewbacca.
We're about to.
Which I don't think has been confirmed yet in this movie. Like, obviously we know it's confirmed, but like, we don't know watching this movie yet that that's Chewbacca, right?
No, not until we're in a second from.
Like, you can kind of tell right here. It's like his bandolier and everything, but
That definitely looks exactly like him.
yeah, like it's Chewbacca, and he calls him Chewbacca later, but like in this movie yet, he. Oh, we're about to get another cameo. Oh, not this kid. And then
That's the Skywalker.
George Lucas
There's too many of
specifically
them.
chose this kid because he looked a lot like Jake Lloyd, and so he wanted it to be a representation of like Anakin/Vader killing his like the innocent side of himself. Also, where are the alien kids? Why is it all human kids? Come on, George Lucas, you racist. C-3PO, you're a little wrong, buddy. Not Natalie Portman's best acting that day. Just went from
No, not
normal
her best
face to
performance.
like sobbing in a tenth of a second. Oh, right here we're getting another cameo.
Why are they killing him if he's not a Jedi?
They're not. They're basically telling him to leave, and then when he fights against him, because I think it's Order 66 isn't just the Jedi. It's like Jedi and Jedi allies. That's I think partially why Ahsoka is attacked in the Clone Wars, because technically she's not a Jedi, but she is a Jedi ally. The cameo right here, that is Jet Lucas as Zet Jukakis, who is George Lucas's son. I love his like jump. Fucking, he's driving before he's even situated. He's like, I'm out. Fuck that kid.
This is a hard sequence to get through. I'm struggling right now, Joe.
I just love
My
making fun of
emotions
this
are.
fucking movie. It's fun. All the weird dumbass shit in here. Ooh. The little
I love
precursor to
those.
the ATST.
Yeah.
ATST. Shout out to Red Letter Media. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Right here is where it's like confirmed if you didn't already know. If it clearly wasn't told. So, like, why? Why does this need to be Chewbacca? Why couldn't it
There's
just be
no
Tarful?
reason for that.
No.
I don't remember that in the theater, but I don't remember if there was like a reaction among the crowd or anything
I
like
have
that.
no
Like
idea.
the people like
Roll their eyes at
did
like,
people
this is
know that
stupid.
it was Chewie, or was there a shock, or what happened there?
Yeah.
I want to watch the deleted scenes now.
Yeah.
The auto landing on Dagobah.
Oh, is that a deleted scene?
I think it is.
Oh, look, it's the Tantive 3, I think, technically.
There's some good deleted scenes in this
So
movie.
this guy is the guy on the right is supposed to be the same guy that Vader chokes out in Episode 4, because they're like, we need. Lucas told his casting director he needs someone for to play Captain Antilles. However, the casting director thought she meant Wedge Antilles, and so she went to find a guy that looked like Wedge Antilles and not a guy that looked like the young guy that got choked out, like a young version of the guy that got choked out at the beginning of Episode 4. And so that's why that guy looks nothing like the guy that gets choked out at the beginning of Episode 4.
Yeah, and he kind of looks like a Wedge, honestly. Like
Yeah,
I
that-
almost
'cause that's who
thought
they were
I thought that was a
technically-
Wedge.
That's who they were casting for, is there someone to play Wedge, even though Wedge would be like -years old.
He was in Rogue One,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Captain Antilles? Yeah, not Wedge, but
And Antilles.
yeah, Captain Antilles. He hands Leia the plans at the end of Rogue One, and then gets choked out in Episode 4.
And man, I would love to just watch Rogue One next.
What are you doing Sunday night? Because that's about when I'm going to be watching Solo.
I think I have to work,
Uh,
but good luck with Solo.
Boo. It's a great film. You don't believe your husband? Trifling now.
Like Anakin's gotten bought into the the conspiracy. This is a
Yeah. He's
he's
bought
been
into the lie.
brainwashed.
He's been bought into the lie that he's been telling. And with you. Fuck Obi-Wan, he's a bitch. I'm afraid.
So do you think if a Jedi at some point during Order 66 had been like, "I surrender, I joined Palpatine," would they have like not killed them?
I don't know.
Because it sounds like Order 66 was more so like take down people who are not loyal to Palpatine.
Pretty much.
Because Anakin is kind of a Jedi still, but like he didn't get killed.
Yeah. Look, I think George Lucas put about this much thought into it. There's going to be this order. It's going to be Order 66. And with that, all the Jedi are going to die.
C-3PO came out and he was really like, it's a hard job, to be a police cop, like a space
Yeah.
cop.
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of things that are hard. So
C-3PO gives off a
sometimes
lot
they
of Blue
kill
Lives
kids.
Matter energy.
I mean, you got to kill kids once in a while.
Yeah. C-3PO, gives off a lot of Blue Lives Matter energy.
Let off some stress.
Yeah. It's okay that 40% of cops beat their wives.
It's a hard job.
Yeah.
It's stressful.
You got to do what you got to do.
You married a cop. What do you
Yeah.
think we're getting into?
If you getting beaten means a black kid doesn't get shot, then you take that beating like a champ.
Unless you're racist.
Yeah. I love that, Obi-Wan going away and talking into, a little microphone that we don't even see becomes kind of this massive thing throughout the rest of Star Wars. It's like, this is a message you see, in basically everything after this.
Yeah.
From Fallen Order to Rebels, maybe even Bad Batch,
Yeah, because part of it was like, oh, we see him record that.
yeah. You
But
see
we
him record
don't.
it, but I don't think you really ever hear what he says.
I don't think we do. And that, yeah, like you said, that's in everything.
Yeah. Poggle the Lesser, Wat Tambor.
It's just shorter, No Time to Die, somehow.
One of them's a better movie than the other.
We'll talk about it after this.
Yeah.
What planet is this now?
Coruscant. Oh, well, that we were
this
just
is
on
Coruscant?
Mustafar. This is Coruscant. Yeah, look at all the shit. Look at all the lines.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder what that is.
There's my boy Masameda. My little green friend.
Good morning, Gustav. That's Jimmy Smith's only sung line in the Heights.
Put that
He
on
had
the
an
list of
entire
movies
song
I'm
they just
never
cut.
gonna watch.
See, there's this planet, but like it's lava.
Yeah,
It's like a volcano, but it's like a planet.
yeah.
You know?
R2 stay with the ship. Do you think R2's like, bro, you need therapy?
Yeah, RT's like, bro, what are we doing right now? We're a fucking volcano planet. Like, you think you're on the good guy team right now? You're at a volcano.
Do you think Anakin didn't want R2 to like witness this, like almost like a protecting him type deal?
Yeah, Anakin, right, or RT right now, if you translate that line, I'm pretty sure the script it says like, bro, what the fuck are you
What the
doing right now?
fuck?
Like,
Oh, the mouse droids. I like that guy that's clearly not a guy in it. Like those two guys are clearly not guys in suits. They're clearly just statues.
yeah, they're not even moving in it. Where are these aliens in the Disney era,
Yeah.
Joe?
The Nemoidians. Pretty
Any of
sure
these,
they.
any of these aliens. Where's the practical effects? Where's the costumes? Where's the statues? Where's the weird shit?
Did you not see Ochi in The Rise of Skywalker? I think he's kind of the pinnacle of weird fucking shit. They
In the war.
they try to give us different shit, and then people are like, "That wasn't in George Lucas's movies. This isn't Star Wars."
What do they talk? Okay, this is not a rant on a Star Wars fandom, but rewatching the prequels makes me wonder what Star Wars fans even want out of these movies at this point.
See, I'm gonna make this quick because I've ranted about this enough on various places, but fans want remakes of the original trilogy, but they want it done in a way they've never seen before, and that's just not physically possible. That's what.
But also in a
I'm
way
not
that
gonna say all
reminds them of
fans,
what
but a
they've
lot
seen
of the
before.
fans. What? A lot
But
of
also in a way that reminds them of exactly what they've seen before because it doesn't do anything unique or different.
exactly fans want remakes of the original trilogy done in a way they've never seen before, but they also want that movie to be exactly like what they've seen before. And that's not all fans. That's like the hardcore fans that complain about everything Disney has released.
I would put. I don't know about you, Joe, but for me, the prequels are. I'd rank it like original trilogy. Well, I rank it original trilogy, prequels, sequels, probably.
See, my thing is, I've said this before too, and again, I'm not trying to do like a rant on all of Star Wars. I think original trilogy best tells the best story of a trilogy, and I also think has the best individual movies overall. I think the prequel, if I were to rank, go next by best story of a trilogy. I think the prequel trilogy is ranked higher. I think it tells the best story of a trilogy overall, with the sequel trilogy last. However, if I was going to rank them based on individual movies, I think the original trilogy is number one, sequel trilogy is two, prequel trilogy is three.
People might kill me if I say this, but if I'm more ranking them like what would I want to watch right now, like I think the prequels are a lot more fun to watch, and a lot more just an enjoyable time to sit through than any of the other trilogies are.
I
So
think partially
I
it's
just
like,
I just have a great time watching the prequels.
and I'm not like discrediting your opinion, but I think it's partially like that's what you grew up on. Like I'm curious if
It is nostalgia. I'm
kids
very
that were
obvious. I'm
like
gonna be honest about that.
kids that were
With
like
thunderous
10
applause.
in 2019 when they're 30, I'm curious what their opinion is on like the Star Wars rankings. Like, are they gonna look at 9 the same way we look at Revenge of the Sith? You know. And I also think all of these Star Wars movies like came out in different eras where people are like, "Oh, why isn't Star Wars the most important franchise?" It's like, well, when the original the original trilogy was. It's like, well, when the original trilogy came out, it wasn't competing with anything like as far as big blockbuster franchise wise. When the prequel trilogy came out, it was basically just competing with like Spider-Man and like Harry Potter before Harry Potter came out. Like while Harry Potter was like just on the cusp of being big. And then when the sequel trilogy came out, it was competing with like 800 different things as far as like pop culture dominance. It had Game of Thrones, it had the MCU, it had so many other it had, so many pop culture blockbuster franchises that it was competing with.
People roast this scene, but this is the scene that breaks me.
Yeah. It's Yoda being like,
Obi-Wan.
"We fucked up. I don't know where we fucked up, but we fucked up."
Yeah, Yoda's like, look, dude, we had control and somehow we fucking collapsed in a single day. Like we
Yeah.
fucked up bad.
We're like the Atlanta Falcons in the playoffs against the Patriots. You know, we were up 28-3, and somehow we fucking lost.
Yes, sports.
Yeah, there you go. How about
The
your
White Sox
Bears?
are in the playoffs and they got like really wrecked.
How
They're
about your
not doing
Bears?
great
They
right now.
actually won 2 games in a row now.
I was for a second rooting for the White Sox to get to a little bit further in the playoffs, but
I
they
don't care
won
about
one.
baseball. Fuck baseball. Baseball's boring. I didn't really. I have my thoughts,
Baseball is
theories
the
on
only
why
sport
baseball
that
is
I
boring,
watch.
or why people don't care about baseball. At least you're not a Raiders fan or a Jaguars fan right now. They got problems. Never thought as a Detroit Lions fan I'd feel bad for fans of other franchises, but yet here we are.
I'm more of a Cubs fan than a Sox fan, but my dad is a big Sox fan because
Yeah,
Chicago has two teams, the
yeah,
South Side Sox and the North Side Cubs. My dad is a big Sox fan, so the Sox are in the playoffs right now. So I went to the house the other day to visit my dad, and he's listening to the Sox on the radio, and he's so stressed. He's like, "I'm not listening. I can't listen. I'm turning it off. I'm turning it off. I can't do it." And like that's a lot of tension to feel about your team in the playoffs. I don't know if I want to feel that.
yeah,
That's how I feel watching Star Wars, though. I empathize. I watch Anakin turning, and I'm like, maybe he won't,
yeah. And this has
but I
been
know he will.
sports with Joe and Tristan. Hashtag Kenneth Walker for Heisman.
It appears that the Chancellor is behind
I
everything. I
my
bad.
I know I've said a lot of things are my favorite thing in this movie, but I also love the non-reactions by everyone in this movie to things that should be like, hey, you know the chancellor, the senator from your planet, the guy you've known since probably the day you were born? Yeah, he's a fucking Sith Lord. And Natalie Portman, Padme's like, wow,
Yeah,
damn,
Obi-Wan's
didn't see
like,
that
yeah, it
coming.
appears. Yeah, Obi-Wan's like, yeah, it appears that guy that we thought we were friends with the whole time for many years is evil Sith Lord who answers to this like satanic religion that worships death,
Yeah, and
essentially.
you know your husband, Anakin Skywalker, the guy you've known since you were 14, and now you're 27. Um, yeah, he kind of joined him. He's with him now. Like they're best friends.
And by the way, if
And
you believe
Natalie
in
Portman's like,
QAnon, you're as
wow.
ridiculous as
Yeah.
this. As
You know, like every Jedi you've ever met, besides me and Yoda, they're all dead because of your husband. And the guy you've known since the day you were born. And Padme's like, wow, damn. Like
uh,
she got told she got an F on her, history test. That's like the level of shock she has. Wow, damn. R.I.P. Wat Tambor. But he's partially why Echo's all fucked up, so go fuck himself.
that last scene between Obi-Wan and Padme is like
It's the epitome of
bad,
non-reactions.
but it's hard to watch. It's like it works in the context of everything else because you know that this is the last time that Obi-Wan and Padme had this moment together, and it's like all the walls are down.
Yeah.
They spent the entirety of Clone Wars on this edge of like, do we address it, do we not? And for the final time they're together, it's like, okay, everything is done. We're gonna talk about this openly. Obi-Wan's like, yeah, you're with him. Your son's his. We know what's going on. Like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Like, I'm not. We spent years hiding the secret between ourselves, and I think Obi-Wan for a while knew about the truth. But that scene is like a moment where the walls come down. Obi-Wan's like, yeah, it's his, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I've known him this whole time, and I'm so sorry this happened to you. It's like a genuine level of empathy. I don't feel like he's condescending in that moment. I don't think he's judging her. He's not judging Anakin. He feels that because he has that with Sabine. He has that like outside presence where
Yeah.
it's like, if I just left, I could have this. If
Yeah.
I just walked away, this should be mine right now. And I really like that line from Ewan McGregor where he says like, I'm so sorry. And it's a simple line, but it's like, what else do you say in that moment?
Yeah.
Like your husband, the one you loved, the one that I loved as a brother, has turned to this cult.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
I
I'm
mean,
so sorry.
and even going to like in season 7, there's a moment where Captain Rex is guarding the door so Anakin can talk to Padme and through a hologram, and Obi-Wan walks up and asks Captain Rex, he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, Anakin's just checking my armor or whatever." And he's like, "Oh," okay. And Obi-Wan's like, "Okay, bro," basically. And eventually Anakin comes out and tosses Rex's helmet, and he's like, "Yep, your armor looked all good." And Obi-Wan asks him some questions, and then he's like, "Did you at least tell Padme I said hello?" And Anakin's face just drops, and that's when Obi-Wan's basically, like, I know stuff's going on with you and Padme, like, don't forget, me and Satine had a little bit of a thing, and yeah, like I like that added bit of lore with Obi-Wan and Satine, because it's kind of like Obi-Wan had the same temptation that Anakin did, but Obi-Wan didn't fall to the temptation, and he kind of regrets it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that single arc adds so much to this entire trilogy.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Obi-Wan had a similar thing and he made the opposite choice, and in a way he regrets that choice. And he looks at Anakin and he's sort of jealous. He sort of wishes he made that choice and wonders what it was. And it goes so bad.
I've never seen anyone in my life so very clearly not 9 months pregnant, just jogging out like she's running a marathon. Instead of just like waddling out, being like, "Oh, my ankles."
What things? Who drinks your
Two
dark side? That was you or me.
younglings. Okay, what if Anakin turns back right now? It's like, yeah, I fucked up. What happens to him? Does he go to jail?
He probably goes on trial. He talks about Palpatine, the temptation of the dark side. They realize there's this Sith temple under the Jedi temple. They're like, holy shit, we've been corrupted this whole time.
No.
And Anakin becomes this kind of anti-hero among the Jedi. He's Quillen Voss. He's the master of Qui-Gon. I can't remember that guy's name, but he's like this outsider Jedi who maybe was kind of bad, but
Wait, the
he
master of
was
Qui-Gon? Wait, who?
the master of Dooku. I can't remember the guy's name now. He was a big book character.
Uh,
He was uh, Dooku's master, I think,
Dooku's master was Yoda.
or one of Dooku's apprentices, I think, before Qui-Gon.
Sifo-Dyas?
Sifo, no,
I don't know.
I don't remember. He was in Dark Disciple. That whole arc
Oh,
of
Quinlan
like the
Voss?
yes, no, maybe I don't know. I've drank too much to remember
Alright.
Star Wars characters' names. They're all just like random word generator names. He doesn't want to hear Obi-Wan.
Don't you turn against me. Ugh.
Oh, this scene.
Natalie Portman not giving her best performance in this scene right here. If I can't follow. Blind. Stop. Obi-Wan just standing up there like, bitch. Okay, it's over though. Anakin, Obi-Wan has the high ground. Like, why do they even fight? And you again?
Oh no.
There's a line here that I would pay George Lucas $500 to go change. Like, refilm the dialogue. Let's get some ADR shit going on. Done that yourself. Say the line, bitch, so then I can say what it should be.
Oh no.
The Dark Lord to twist your mind until. Dark side, I drink. I think it's the first time I've said that all movie. Freedom, justice, and security to my new empire.
Your new empire.
Your new empire. The line right there should be, "Don't make me destroy you." Am I wrong?
It should be.
Then you're
You're
my
right.
enemy. It should be. It's like very clearly right there. It should be, "Don't make me destroy you." Isn't that an absolute? So technically, Obi-Wan is admitting that he himself is a Sith.
We'll try.
Ugh. All of the emotions.
I
All
don't
of
know
the
about you,
feels.
Joe,
I'm gonna
but my heart is like
lean this
physically
back so I
breaking.
can lay back. Hurts my back to sit
Oh,
up for
this
this long with
this
no back
is
support.
score.
Don't get any.
I don't know how you watch this movie and you're not like caught up in the momentary emotions of this sequence. Like these two people who are brothers from like Anakin's youth, Obi-Wan's youth. Like Obi-Wan was such a young, like played apprentice at that point, and they really were.
Yeah.
You talk about Obi-Wan as Anakin's father, but I think Anakin made as much of an influence on Obi-Wan as Anakin did on Obi-Wan. Like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan did on Anakin,
Yeah.
and like
Fucking
Anakin
goddammit.
formed Obi-Wan, and now these two brothers are just like falling apart. I don't know. Every time I watch this, it's like this whole last act breaks my heart. Like they're so close to just realizing the reality of things.
I like how they're just fighting among the dead corpses of the former separatist leaders.
Yeah, all the Trade Federation people.
Yeah. This moment, my
Little green friend. We both drink now. Fuck yes. Please, Yoda.
Yoda's gonna win
Fight.
this time. I can feel it.
Fight.
Anything to say about
Please.
it? I have. So dumb. Like, George Lucas, what are you doing?
Oof. Fight him.
Fuck you, Yoda, for
Dark
saying dark
side.
side.
Yeah.
There's a dark side, just like Star Wars. I know what I'm getting Palpatine for Christmas. Some fucking toothpaste.
Yeah, I got some moisturizer in my bathroom right now. Figuring some of that, you know. He needs some good moisturizer though. You gotta buy him like brand name,
Extra
top
strength
end
shit.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You need some
prescription.
like Crest fucking toothpaste too, not some of that bottom shelf shit.
You gotta go to the CVS, be like, yeah, I got this from my doctor. It's very serious, you know. Mace Windu, he shocked me. I was just blown away.
Yeah.
The literal downfall of democracy, Joe.
Yeah.
Good thing this won't happen in real life.
Yeah. I love all the spins for no reason.
Lots of spins. The score is so good here too. It's weaving in all the prequel themes within the new trilogy theme. It's not just repeating stuff. Like it's not just, oh, you remember this one? It's also bringing in new stuff and stuff that has become iconic after this.
Yep.
Like this is one of the most iconic moments of music in Star Wars. You see, Joe, they're destroying democracy because the Sith is taking over
Sorry, I knocked my headset off. What are they destroying? Oh, democracy.
democracy. Yeah. Yeah. uh, my heart feels this. I don't know about you, Joe, but I feel this finale every single time. Like I'll watch this and I'll be like, all right, it's like a okay movie. It's not going great, but like I'm getting to the end. It's okay. And then I get to like the last hour and I'll be completely engulfed.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I got there because I wasn't that into it until now. Joe, did you ever ship the Obi-Wan Anakin like love affair relationship that people had online? It was a big thing on Tumblr. People were into like
No.
the Obi-Wan Anakin ship.
Tumblr likes to ship clear heterosexual couples as homosexual couples for some reason. And so, no, I never did. Like, oh, here's a guy with a fucking wife, and here's a guy that's clearly been in love with a woman before. They must be in a homosexual relationship.
Look, at least he watched movies. He's like, there's no sign of his body. He's not dead. Like, he's watched enough movies. He knows if you don't have a body, that person is alive. Like, we've seen Star Wars. Mace Windu, I guarantee he's back at some point in the future. Like, they will write that off into him being alive. That guy has watched Star Wars. I guarantee you. He was like nobody, alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen based on rumors, but my thought of where I wanted Mace Windu to appear was I wanted him to be the antagonist in the Kenobi show. I've pitched the idea before, but it's basically Mace Windu shows up after living a nomadic lifestyle, runs across Obi-Wan. They go on a quick little mission on Tatooine together. And then Mace Windu realizes why Obi-Wan's really on Tatooine. And his thought process is, why are we protecting the son of the man who betrayed us and murdered our entire order, and then not terminating this child? And Kenobi basically realizes that he can't let Luke die, and so he has to kill Mace Windu to protect Luke.
Into exile. I must go.
Into exile. Back to Dagobah to chat with my friend, Qui-Gon Jinn. I do like that Clone Wars explained why Yoda chose Dagobah of all places.
If you guys are watching live, in a few minutes we'll be reviewing No Time to Die, the newest James Bond movie.
Yep.
So if you like our take on franchise epics, the finale of long-running, multi-generational franchises, No Time to Die is exactly that.
Yeah. No. Time to die.
This is the part where Obi-Wan says, "You're going to die, Anakin," and Anakin says, "No, time to die, Obi-Wan."
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't ask him what time it is, and then Anakin replies, no, and then Obi-Wan replies,
No,
time to die.
time to die, Anakin.
Best part of the movie. That's a little preview of my review. Sorry I've been quiet. I've had to do some housekeeping work. I've known the Jedi were planning to take over. And Chancellor Palpatine is evil. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well,
then you are lost. Every time I watch this, I feel like I'm experiencing heart failure because I just don't want this relationship to go this way. You know?
Yeah. It's over, Anakin. He's got the high ground.
You underestimate my power.
I hate you!
You, my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
Chosen one. You were supposed to you would destroy the Sith, not join them. You're next to the Force, not leave it in darkness. I hate you. Give my lightsaber to my son when he's old enough. My brother Anakin, I love you. Being evil doesn't pay, man.
Joe, I'm having like an emotional breakdown, you know?
Yeah. What's
Every time
Ahsoka
I watch
thinking
this
right now?
finale, Ahsoka's like, wow, you know, I should have really pushed
Fucking
Anakin
Obi-Wan, man. He dropped the ball. That's what she's thinking.
Yeah, Ahsoka's like, man, Obi-Wan's a real piece of shit, huh?
He
You
is.
know?
Obi-Wan fucking sucks.
Whew.
Wow, she totally looks 9 months pregnant.
I should have warned you ahead of time that make me watch this movie on live stream is like putting Tristan through a emotional crisis from the highs to the lows of all the realities of life, you know. There's too much in here. Padme and Anakin is like the ultimate tragedy of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Clone Wars for me elevates that relationship so much to the point where it's like, if this could have worked, the entire galaxy is saved. Literally, like
all they had to do was grant Anakin the rank of master. That's all they had to do. And they should have. He was worthy of being a master. It's not like you're giving him something he hasn't earned. He earned it.
He saved the fucking galaxy in the Clone Wars, and he was just mad because he's young and he's arrogant and he's
He's
hot-headed and
cool.
he's really
Basically,
confident.
they were all fucking nerds, and Anakin was cool, and they were like, "You don't get to join our club. This is the fucking, we're the nerd people."
Yeah, they're like, we voted for Joe Biden. Okay, you guys are like a little too radical for us.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
And already, Palpatine's like, "How can I get a different apprentice? This one's kind of fucked up already."
Yeah, he's like, my bad,
One day in the
guys.
job, and
Okay.
he kind of fucked himself up.
He's like, wow, he felt like one Jedi, and he got fucking destroyed. (2001) shot right there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me it's bad, Joe.
This movie came out in 2005, dummy.
Yeah, well, they stole that shot from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, okay. I still want to know why they didn't have the strategy of Obi-Wan. You and I, we're going to team up. We're going to fight Palpatine. Hopefully one of us survives. Then both of us together will go fight Anakin. Sound like a plan? Obi-Wan's been doing some curls. There's not a whole lot of weight to Padme carrying her around like that.
Yeah, he's like, all right, hold up.
Why couldn't he also
I
just
got
use the
this.
Force to, like, carry her instead of, like, just use the Force?
He walks out just like, hold up, I got her. Real quick. Real quick.
I like Palpatine's little T-Rex walk, too. Oh, look, it's AZ from,
Medically, she's completely healthy. Okay. She's lost the will to live, Joe. I feel the same way watching this movie.
Same. Probably for different reasons. Obi-Wan. Oh, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan unzips his pants and is like, let's see what this was all about. Let's see what turned Anakin to the dark side.
Is she really dead? Or...
I do like when you have the above head view, it's basically the Empire logo. So yeah. 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 Oh. Oops. Can you hear me? No. Yeah. Yeah. Padme's. Yeah, because Anakin's breaths were on a pattern. It skips one, and during that skip, Padme takes her last breath, and then as Padme's last breath stops, Vader's first breath starts. Yeah. 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 Hey, what's wrong with being a bad guy? I like the whole Frankenstein's monster thing here too. It's alive. This might be hot take. That might be the most iconic shot from the prequels of Vader just lifting up. That and Maul igniting his double lightsaber. Is she safe? Is she alright? I got it right. That's a double drink. One for you fucking up and one for me getting it right. In your anger, you killed her. I couldn't have. It was alive. I felt it. Just Palpatine's creepy ass smile. It's alive! It's alive! No! And the 10 to V3 again. Yeah. Oh. We must take them where the Sith will never sense their presence. So we're gonna send Leia with like Padme's best friend, basically, with Bail Organa, and we're gonna send Luke to his home planet with Anakin's family. Is your stepbrother and his wife that you met once for a long weekend really your family? You know? I almost weirdly like the. What? Yeah. Yeah. I talked to him like 2 months ago. Forgot to bring it up. We should have probably told Anakin about this as it was going down. Didn't think about it. But yeah, what about my question? Is your stepbrother and his wife that you met for a long weekend really your family? That's not Wedge. That's not Wedge. It's Captain Antilles. Captain Antilles is not the same as Wedge Antilles. Captain Antilles is the guy that gets choked at the beginning of A New Hope. He's also at the end of Rogue One. Antilles, according to George Lucas, is a common name in Star Wars, like Smith or Johnson. That's his reasoning. Okay, I can't. Those were Padme's parents. Yeah, that is Jar Jar. Jar Jar Binks. That's the new queen. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think when he dies? Yeah. Oh, look, it's Grand Moff Tarkin. Williff Tarkin. See, I think part of what fucks people up with the sequel trilogy is essentially like we're straight up. This looks straight up like Imperial right now. Like nothing about this looks Clone Wars era, right? And I think that's part of what screws people up with the sequel trilogy is essentially everything gets put in its place right to where it's going to be, how it's going to be for A New Hope. And I mean, outside of the twins aging, nothing really feels like 20 years has passed, right? This would be Alderaan. Uh, yeah, it's Alderaan because it's Bail Organa, Bail and Brea. But like nothing really feels like it's changed. Where The Force Awakens actually acts like 30 years has passed since Return of the Jedi, and like characters change and they've gone through stuff, and yeah. I mean, Han and Leia are broken up, but they actually act like things have changed in the last 30 years, where this sets things up to be exactly how they are 20 years later in A New Hope. Minus, like, obviously the twins are babies and everything, but they're with their aunt and uncle in the house that they're going to be in. Leia's with Bela and Brea on Alderaan. Yeah. Yeah. Hope. Rebellions were built on hope. Yeah. Baby Jesus. Yeah. But, like, why are they looking out into the galaxy of hope? Like, to them, like, they don't know any different. Alright? Yeah. Yeah. Alright, we get it. Hope. Alright. I think the movie's over. We've talked about it. That was our Revenge of the Sith drink along. We got a little fucked up during it. As you can tell, Tristan's a little under the influence. I'm a little under the influence. I can't wait to talk about No Time to Die after this. That's gonna be fun. All right, all right. Any final thoughts on Revenge of the Sith? I think. Do you want to know what I think? I think without further ado, goodbye.
Changeup podcast. We'd really appreciate if you liked, commented, subscribed, and shared us with anyone you think might be into what we're doing over here. Thank you. Have a nice day.